The crystal wine glasses clinked as my sister Hazel raised her fourth toast of the evening. To Curtis, for showing us what real success looks like. Everyone at the table beamed, except me. I took a small sip, watching the way Curtis's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. I'm Lucille, and I've spent 29 years being the family disappointment. Tonight was just another reminder. Speaking of success, my mother Rosalie chirped, smoothing her silk blouse. Lucille, darling, have you considered that job opening at the Morgan Group? The one I mentioned? I set down my glass. My business is doing well, Mum. I don't need... Hazel's laugh cut through the air like breaking glass. Oh, please. That little craft project. How many mason jars did you paint this week? They're hand-carved marble vessels, actually. I kept my voice steady. And we shipped over 200 units last... Sweetie? My mother interrupted, reaching across the table to pat my hand. We're just concerned. You can't build a real future selling trinkets online. What will people think? My father Nelson studied his plate, avoiding eye contact as usual. The coward's way out, his specialty. Curtis, Hazel gushed, wrapping herself around her fiancé's arm. Tell Lucille about that investment opportunity you mentioned. The one with the guaranteed returns? I watched Curtis lean forward, all white teeth and expensive cologne. Well, since you asked, I've been developing an exclusive fund. Very selective clientele. We're seeing consistent 40% returns. 40%? I couldn't help myself. That seems unusually high for any legitimate... Oh, here we go! Hazel rolled her eyes. Just because you sell crafts on Etsy doesn't make you a financial expert. Actually, I started, but Mom jumped in. Lucille, please. Curtis manages portfolios for some very important people. He knows what he's doing. She turned to him, practically glowing. We're so blessed to have you joining the family. I bit my tongue, remembering the SEC complaint I'd found buried in public records with Curtis's name on it. The one I couldn't prove was about him, because the case was sealed. Speaking of family, my mother continued, whatever happened to that nice boy from the country club? Michael? Matthew, I corrected. And I told you, I'm not interested. But he comes from such a good family, and he's already made partner at his law firm. She lowered her voice. Darling, you're not getting any younger. Don't you want what your sister has? I glanced at Hazel, draped over Curtis like a designer scarf, both of them scrolling through their phones while Mom talked. What my sister had was a $50,000 engagement ring, a massive credit card debt I'd accidentally discovered, and a fiancé whose investment opportunities set off every red flag I'd learned to spot in my business research. I want something different, I said quietly. Different isn't always better, Mum sighed. I just wish you'd stop embarrassing us with this hobby and focus on finding a suitable match. The Henderson's son is recently divorced. My business isn't a hobby. The words came out sharper than intended. The table fell silent. Even Hazel looked up from her phone. Oh? Curtis smirked. How much revenue did your business generate last quarter? I met his gaze. Enough, he laughed. See? If it was impressive, you'd share the number. My phone buzzed. Probably Mara checking how the dinner was going. She'd warned me not to come tonight, said I didn't need their approval anymore. But some habits die hard. I should go. I stood up, dropping my napkin on the table. Early morning tomorrow. We have a large shipment going out. To where? The local craft fair. Hazel snickered. I grabbed my purse, fighting the urge to tell them about the boutique in Paris that had just placed a 6-figure order. About the waiting list for my pieces that grew longer every day. About the venture capitalist who'd offered to buy 30% of my company last week. But I remembered what Mara always said. Success is the best revenge, and revenge is a dish best served cold. Thanks for dinner, I said instead. Curtis, good luck with that 40% return. I'm sure it's totally legitimate. His smile flickered for just a second. As I walked to my car, I heard the front door open behind me. Lucille, my mother's voice carried across the driveway. Please think about what we discussed. We just want what's best for you. I turned around, the motion sensor lights casting harsh shadows across her worried face. No, Mom. You want what's best for your image. There's a difference. I got in my car and drove away, leaving her standing there in her designer dress and pearls, probably already composing a group text about her ungrateful younger daughter. Little did they know, I was about to show them exactly what best looked like. And it wouldn't be anything like they expected. You're still up? Mara's voice crackled through my earbuds as I carefully wrapped another marble vessel in biodegradable padding. It's almost midnight. Can't stop now, I said, checking the shipping label. We've got 38 orders to fulfill by morning. 38? She paused. Wait, didn't we only have 12 when I left the studio at 6? I smiled, sealing the box with our signature gold tape. Check your Instagram. Sandra Fowler posted about her bathroom renovation. The lifestyle influencer? No way. Way. She tagged us in her stories. Apparently, our vanity set is absolutely divine and worth every penny. I mimicked Sandra's breathy voice. The orders started pouring in right after. Holy shit, Lou, Mara squealed. We're going viral. Maybe. I pulled up our analytics dashboard. Traffic's up 400% in the last 4 hours. The wholesale inquiries are flooding in too. Remember when your mom called this a cute little hobby? Mara snorted. What was it she said last Christmas? At least it keeps her busy so she doesn't think about being single, I quoted, rolling my eyes. Right before she tried to set me up with her tennis instructor. The one with 3 ex-wives? That's the one. I stretched, my back cracking from hours of hunching over the packing station. Speaking of family disasters, you'll never believe what Curtis was pushing at dinner. Let me guess. Another exclusive investment opportunity. 40% guaranteed returns. Jesus. Mara's voice turned serious. That's literally impossible without it being a scam? Yeah, I know. I pulled up the screenshots I'd been collecting. But they're all so blinded by his designer suits and country club membership, they can't see it. Have you told them? They wouldn't believe me if I did. I clicked through our order management system, double-checking addresses. Besides, Hazel would just accuse me of being jealous of her perfect life. My phone pinged with a new email notification. Hold on, I told Mara. We just got another wholesale inquiry. Holy shit. What? It's from Maison Laurent, the luxury department store in Paris. What? They want to place an initial order for... I squinted at the screen. 200 pieces, minimum. The line went quiet. Then Mara whispered, That's over $500,000. If we accept their offered price point, yeah. My hands were shaking. They want to feature us in their holiday collection. Lou! Mara's voice cracked. We did it. We actually fucking did it. I thought about my mother's dismissive wave earlier that evening, Hazel's mocking laughter, Curtis's condescending smirk. Not yet, I said, but we're getting there. Should we tell your family? I remembered all the dinner parties where they'd talked over me, the Christmas gatherings where they'd belittled my dreams, the countless times they'd tried to shame me into following their prescribed path. No, I decided. Let them figure it out on their own. Just then, my phone lit up with a text from Hazel. Mum's crying because of how you acted at dinner. Why do you always have to be so difficult? I ignored it, focusing instead on the shipping labels. Another notification popped up, this time from my mother. Darling, the Hendersons are hosting a charity gala next weekend. Their son will be there. Please come. Wear something appropriate. Delete. You know what the best part is? I told Mara, moving on to the next order. They think I'm failing because I won't tell them how well we're doing. But really, I'm succeeding because I stopped listening to them telling me how to live. Speaking of success, Mara said, have you seen the offer from that venture capitalist? Desmond something? Hunter? I nodded, though she couldn't see me. Yeah, 30% stake for $5 million. I'm turning it down. What? Why? I thought about Curtis, about how he probably started small too, taking other people's money, making big promises. Because I want to own every piece of this. No investors, no board meetings, no one telling us what our vision should be. Just us? Just us. I sealed another box. Building something real. My phone buzzed again. A notification from our business account. Someone had tagged us in a post. I clicked through to find Sandra Fowler showing off her completed bathroom to her millions of followers, our marble vessels prominently displayed. The comments were flooding in. Gorgeous. Where can I buy these? Take my money. I sent the link to Mara. Get some sleep, I told her. Tomorrow's going to be busy. After we hung up, I sat back and looked around my studio, at the carefully organized shipping station, the rows of finished pieces waiting to be packed, the wall of inspiration photos and design sketches. My little hobby that was about to break 7 figures in quarterly revenue. I picked up my phone and typed out a reply to Hazel. Sorry, Mum's crying. I'll try to be less difficult once you all try to be more supportive. Then I deleted it, without sending. Some things were better left unsaid, at least for now. Mimosas! Hazel sang, floating through our mother's sunroom with a tray of champagne flutes. Curtis has something amazing to share with everyone. I accepted a glass but didn't drink, watching Curtis set up his laptop at the head of the table. Mother had arranged this casual family brunch with the precision of a military operation. Fresh flowers, catered pastries, and strategically placed financial magazines featuring Curtis's competitors. Before we start, Curtis announced, straightening his tie, I want to thank Rosalie for hosting, and of course, my beautiful fiancé for bringing us all together. Hazel preened. My father nodded absently, already checking his phone. Now, Curtis clicked to his first slide. Who here wants to be part of something revolutionary? I fought the urge to roll my eyes as he launched into his pitch. The same buzzwords I'd been researching all week. Exclusive opportunity, guaranteed returns, limited time offer. The minimum buy-in is only $250,000, he said, as if discussing pocket change. But for family, I can be flexible. That's so generous, my mother gushed. What exactly are you investing in? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. Curtis's smile tightened. It's a diversified portfolio of emerging market opportunities. Which markets specifically? Lucille, my mother warned. No, it's fine, Curtis said smoothly. I understand your concern, but look at these returns. He pulled up a graph showing impossible growth curves. The numbers speak for themselves. They certainly do, I muttered. Hazel shot me a glare. Some of us actually understand finance, Lucille. Not everyone's idea of success is selling crafts online. Speaking of which, Curtis interjected, how is your little project going? It's going. Still just you and that friend of yours? Mara? We've scaled up, actually. Hired some... That's nice. He cut me off. But let's talk about real business opportunities. Your parents have already committed their retirement fund. My head snapped up. What? It's a solid investment, my father said, finally looking up from his phone. Curtis has an impressive track record. Does he? I pulled out my own phone, because I was looking at his previous fund's performance reports, and the numbers don't match what he's claiming. The room went silent. Excuse me? Curtis's voice had lost its smooth edge. I turned my phone around, showing the screenshot I'd saved. This email from last year shows your Asia Pacific fund lost 30%, but your marketing materials claim it gained 45%. Want to explain the discrepancy? How did you get that? Curtis demanded. It's public information, if you know where to look. You had no right. To what? Do basic due diligence? Lucille! My mother's voice cracked like a whip. Apologize to Curtis immediately. For what? Asking questions about where you're putting your retirement money? Hazel stood up, hands shaking. You're just jealous because Curtis is successful, and you're still playing with your little arts and crafts. At least my arts and crafts don't require lying to investors. Curtis's face went red. You don't know what you're talking about, don't I? I scrolled through my phone. Should we discuss the sealed SEC complaint from 2019? Or the 3 lawsuits from your previous clients that were quietly settled out of court? That's enough. My mother slammed her hand on the table. Lucille, if you can't be supportive of your sister's fiancé, you can leave. I looked around the table, at my father's averted eyes, my mother's flushed face, Hazel's defensive posture, and Curtis's barely contained rage. Fine. I stood up. But don't say I didn't warn you. Warn us about what? Hazel sneered. That we might actually succeed while you waste your life making overpriced decorations? I paused at the door. You know what's funny? You're all so convinced I'm failing because I won't tell you how my business is doing, but I'm not the one trying to convince family members to invest their life savings in a scheme. It's not a scheme, Curtis shouted after me. Prove it, I called back. Show me the real numbers, all of them. His silence was all the answer I needed. Outside, I texted Mara. They're in deeper than we thought. My parents invested their retirement fund. Her response came quickly. Holy shit. What are you going to do? I thought about the SEC tip line I'd bookmarked, the documentation I'd been gathering, the journalist who'd been asking questions about Curtis's previous ventures. Watch, I typed back. And wait, my phone buzzed with a message from my mother. I hope you're happy. You've ruined a lovely family brunch with your baseless accusations. Curtis is very hurt. I saved the screenshot. Something told me I'd want to remember this moment when everything finally fell apart. Because it would fall apart. The only question was how many people Curtis would take down with him when it did. We need a bigger warehouse, Mara announced, surveying our packed studio. Like yesterday, I nodded, signing for another delivery of raw materials. I've got 3 spaces lined up to view this afternoon. 3? She raised an eyebrow. When did you have time to arrange that? Around 4 this morning, when I couldn't sleep. I checked our sales dashboard. The Maison Laurent order cleared. 2 million euros, straight to our account. Mara squealed, grabbing my hands. Do you realize what this means? We're actually millionaires. Multi-millionaires? I corrected, allowing myself a small smile. The American boutique orders pushed us over 8 figures last month. Meanwhile, your family still thinks we're selling on Etsy. I shrugged, turning back to the shipment manifest. Let them think what they want. Speaking of thinking, Mara pulled up something on her phone. Have you seen this? I leaned over to look. It was a blog post titled Curtis Myers, the man behind the mirrors. My stomach tightened. It's starting to unravel, Mara said quietly. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Sandra Fowler's name flashed on the screen. Lucille! Her voice bubbled through the speaker. Darling, I simply had to call. My followers are obsessed with your pieces. The waiting list is causing quite the stir. That's wonderful, Sandra. Thank you for... I'm hosting a lifestyle summit next month. Very exclusive. I want you to be our keynote speaker. I froze. Keynote? Of course! Your brand's growth is unprecedented. Everyone's dying to know how you did it. She paused. The press will be there. Forbes, Vogue, all the major players. Mara, who could hear everything, was frantically nodding. I'll need to check my schedule, I said carefully. Perfect. My assistant will send the details. Oh, and bring plenty of product. My guests love to shop. After hanging up, I turned to Mara. If I do this summit, your family will finally see, she finished. Is that such a bad thing? My phone pinged with a text from Hazel. Mom's asking if you're coming to my engagement party next week. Try not to ruin this one with your conspiracy theories about Curtis. Another ping. And wear something nice. Not those hippie dresses you make yourself? Delete, Mara advised, reading over my shoulder. And say yes to Sandra's summit. I was about to respond when an email notification popped up. The subject line made my blood run cold. Urgent. Information about Curtis Meyer's investment scheme. The email was from someone named Rocky Valdez, identifying himself as a financial investigative journalist. I'm working on exposing a series of investment frauds, he wrote. Multiple sources have confirmed your family's involvement. Would you be willing to talk? Mara, I called out. Remember those screenshots I took of Curtis's contradicting numbers? Yeah, why? I think it's time to use them. Just then, our inventory system pinged. Holy shit, Mara breathed, staring at the screen. Neiman Marcus wants to place an order. 7 figures. I looked around our crowded studio, at the staff efficiently packing orders, at the designs for our new collection pinned to the walls, at the vision board Mara and I had made 3 years ago, when everyone said we were dreaming too big. Call the realtor, I decided. Let's view those warehouses now, and tell Sandra I'll do her summit. What about Rocky's email? I thought about my parents' retirement fund, about Hazel's blind trust, about all the other families Curtis had probably scammed. Forward everything we have to him, I said, but anonymously. It's not time for my name to be attached to this yet. And the engagement party? I smiled, picking up a sample from our new luxury line, a hand-carved marble vase with gold inlay, priced at $12,000. Oh, I'll be there, and I'll wear something very nice. My phone buzzed again. A news alert this time. Investment advisor under investigation for fraud. The article didn't name Curtis, but mentioned a prominent figure in the local social scene being scrutinized for inconsistencies in reported returns. I forwarded it to Mara. It's starting. Are you ready for what happens next? She asked. Once they realize? I thought about all the family dinners where they'd talked over me, all the snide comments about my little hobby, all the times they'd tried to force me into their narrow definition of success. They made their choices, I said, picking up my keys. Now they get to live with them. Before we left for the warehouse viewings, I sent 2 emails, one to Sandra accepting her summit invitation, and one to Rocky Valdez with an encrypted file of everything I'd collected on Curtis. Then I texted Hazel. Don't worry, I'll wear something appropriate to your engagement party. Wouldn't want to embarrass the family. What do you think will happen? Mara asked as we walked to my car. When it all comes out? I thought about the millions in our business account, the expanding empire we'd built, and the house of cards Curtis had constructed. Justice, I said simply. Or maybe just karma. The call came at 3 a.m. My mother's ringtone jolted me awake, and I knew before answering it had finally happened. Lucille? Her voice was raw, broken. Everything's gone. I sat up in bed, switching on my lamp. What do you mean, gone? The investments, our retirement fund. All of it. She choked back a sob. Curtis. We can't reach him. I closed my eyes, letting the weight of the moment sink in. Where's Dad? Trying to contact the bank. Again. She sniffled. Hazel's hysterical. She says Curtis isn't answering his phone. Of course he isn't. What's that supposed to mean? Mom, I warned you. I showed you the evidence. Don't, she snapped. Don't you dare say I told you so. Not now. A pause, then softer. We need help, Lucille. Help? Money, a loan, anything. Her voice cracked. Your father and we put everything into Curtis's fund. The house, our savings, and my warnings meant nothing. Please, Lucille. You have that little business of yours. Surely you must have something saved? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. My little business? Yes, your crafts. Your father says you must have some startup money. Stop. I cut her off. Just stop. The line went quiet except for her shaky breathing. Lucille? A new voice. Hazel had taken the phone. Listen, I know we've had our differences, but… Differences? I sat up straighter. Is that what you call years of mockery? That's not fair. I was just what? Looking out for me? Protecting me from my silly dreams? Curtis said it was guaranteed. She was crying now. He showed us the paperwork, the returns. The fake paperwork, I corrected. The manufactured returns. You don't know that. Actually, I do. Check tomorrow's financial news. Rocky Valdez is publishing quite an interesting story about your fiancé. The line went silent again. You knew, Hazel whispered. You knew, and you let this happen? No, Hazel. You let this happen. All of you. Every time you dismissed me, belittled my work, treated me like I was nothing. You chose this. We're your family. Are we? Because family supports each other. Family listens when someone tries to warn them. Family doesn't… A text notification interrupted me. It was from Rocky. Story goes live in 4 hours. Curtis Myers spotted boarding private plane to non-extradition country. Comment? Lucille? My mother was back on the line. Please, we don't know what to do. I thought about the new warehouse we'd just leased, the 8-figure purchase orders waiting to be fulfilled, the summit where I was scheduled to speak. There's nothing I can do, I said finally. But you made your choice when you chose Curtis over me. Now you get to live with it. How can you be so cold? Hazel grabbed the phone again. We're about to lose everything. No, you're about to lose the things you valued more than our relationship. There's a difference. My phone buzzed with another text. Mara this time. Holy shit. Curtis's face is all over Twitter. They're calling it the scandal of the year. I have to go, I told my family. Wait, my mother again. Please, just tell us what to do. I thought about all the times I'd needed their help, their support, their belief in me, all the times they'd turned away. Call a lawyer, I said, and maybe start reading the financial news. You're about to see your perfect future son-in-law's face everywhere. I hung up as another call came in, this time from Rocky. Sources say Curtis took over $50 million, he said, without preamble. Want to comment on the record now? No, I replied, but I'll send you something better, proof that he knew exactly what he was doing from the start. After sending Rocky the encrypted files, I texted Mara. It's happening. All of it. Her response was immediate. You okay? I looked at my phone as messages flooded in. From my mother, from Hazel, from my father, all begging for help, for money, for salvation from their own choices. No, I typed back to Mara. But I will be. Then I turned off my phone, lay back down, and tried to sleep. Tomorrow would bring chaos, headlines, accusations, probably more family drama. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one who needed to explain myself. Let them feel what it was like to be dismissed, ignored, written off. Let them understand what it meant to face consequences. Let them learn what happens when you bet everything on appearances and nothing on substance. I'd warned them about Curtis. Now they could watch him burn. The total damage is closer to 70 million, Rocky said, spreading documents across my office table. Your family wasn't his only target. I scanned the papers, bank statements, transfer records, emails from desperate investors. How many families? 23. He pulled up more files on his laptop. All connected through country clubs, charity galas, social events, classic affinity fraud. And no one checked his credentials. They trusted the lifestyle he projected, the expensive suits, the luxury cars. He paused. The flashy engagement to a socialite's daughter. My phone buzzed. Another missed call from Hazel. I ignored it. Your anonymous tips helped break this wide open, Rocky continued. But I have to ask, why didn't you come forward sooner? Before I could answer, Mara burst into the office. Turn on the news, now! I grabbed the remote, flicking on the wall-mounted TV. Curtis's face filled the screen, but not the polished version my family knew. This was a grainy security camera image from an airport in Dubai. Breaking news, the anchor announced. Investment advisor Curtis Myers, accused of orchestrating a massive Ponzi scheme, has been spotted in the United Arab Emirates. Sources say federal authorities are working with international partners to... My phone rang again. This time, it was my father. Did you see? He asked without greeting. I saw. The FBI was at our house this morning. They're saying we might be considered accomplices because we brought in other investors. I closed my eyes. Who did you bring in? The Hendersons, the Walkers, everyone from the club. His voice cracked. We vouched for him, Lucille. We told them it was safe. Rocky was watching me intently, taking notes. Dad, I have to go. Wait, the agents. They mentioned your name. Said you provided evidence? Goodbye, Dad. I hung up as Mara handed me a tablet. Look at this. It was a social media post from Maeve, a family friend. The truth about Curtis Myers and the Reyes family scandal, a thread. As someone who witnessed it all firsthand, she's exposing everything, Mara said. The fake credentials, the forged documents, how they pressured people to invest. My phone lit up with a text from my mother. Please tell me you didn't help that horrible journalist destroy our family. Another notification popped up, an email from Rocky's editor requesting an official interview. You should do it, Rocky said quietly. Tell your side. There's more, Mara interrupted, scrolling through her phone. Curtis had another family in Boston, a wife and kids. The whole engagement to Hazel was part of his cover. The room spun slightly. Does Hazel know? As if on cue, my doorbell rang. Security footage showed Hazel standing outside, mascara streaked down her face. Let her in, I told Mara. Moments later, Hazel burst into my office. She stopped short at the sight of Rocky and his evidence wall. You knew, she whispered. You knew everything. I tried to tell you. Did you know about Boston? Her voice cracked. About his family? I just found out. She collapsed into a chair, her designer dress crumpling. I thought I was special, that we were building something real. Rocky quietly gathered his papers. I'll give you two a moment. After he and Mara left, Hazel looked around my office, at the industry awards on the walls, the financial statements on my desk, the prototype designs for our next collection. Your little hobby, she said bitterly. It wasn't so little, was it? No. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? She wiped her eyes, smearing expensive makeup. Mom and Dad are going to lose the house. Did you know that? They made their choice. By trusting my fiancé? By dismissing everyone who tried to warn them. I leaned forward. Including me. So this is revenge? Letting us crash and burn? No, Hazel. This is consequences. She stood up, smoothing her dress with shaking hands. I have to go. The FBI wants to interview me again. Hazel? I called as she reached the door. For what it's worth, I'm sorry about Boston. She turned, and for a moment, I saw past the designer clothes and perfect makeup to the sister I'd once looked up to. I'm sorry too, she said softly, for not believing in you. After she left, I called Rocky back in. Okay, I said, pointing to his recorder. Let's tell the whole story. You sure? I thought about my mother's text, about my father's broken voice, about Hazel's smeared mascara. Yes, I said, straightening in my chair. It's time everyone knew the truth. Rocky pressed record as Mara slipped back into the room, taking her usual spot beside me. Start from the beginning, he said. So I did. And this time, I didn't hold anything back. The emergency family dinner felt like a funeral. My mother's usually immaculate dining room was dusty, with moving boxes stacked in corners. They'd already started packing up the house. We need to discuss options, my father said, pushing food around his plate. The bank gave us 30 days. Hazel sat hunched in Curtis's old seat, wearing sweatpants instead of her usual designer clothes. She hadn't spoken since I arrived. There are no options, my mother snapped. We've lost everything. She turned to me. Unless... No. You haven't even heard what I was going to say. You want money? I set down my fork. The answer is no. We're your parents. The same parents who told me I was wasting my life? Who said my business was embarrassing the family? Hazel flinched. That's not fair, my father protested weakly. We were just concerned about your future. No, you were concerned about appearances. I reached into my bag. Speaking of which, I pulled out a thick folder and placed it on the table. What's that? My mother asked. My company's latest financial statement. I opened it, sliding out the first page. Last quarter's revenue was just over $8 million. Net profit margin of 42%. No debt. No external investors. The silence was deafening. That's impossible, my father stammered. Why? Because it's just crafts? I pulled out more papers. Here's our contract with Maison Laurent and Neiman Marcus, and that's just the beginning. My mother's hands shook as she reached for the documents. But how? By building something real, not chasing get-rich-quick schemes or social status. Why didn't you tell us? Hazel spoke for the first time, her voice barely a whisper. Would it have mattered? Would you have stopped following Curtis's empty promises? No one answered. I tried to warn you, I continued. I showed you evidence. But you were so convinced I was a failure, you couldn't see what was right in front of you. So now you're punishing us? My mother's voice cracked. No, you punished yourselves. I stood up. You chose to believe in Curtis's lies instead of your own daughter's truth. You chose to invest everything in his schemes instead of even considering that I might know what I was talking about. Please, my father reached for my hand. We were wrong. We see that now. But we're about to lose everything. And I'm supposed to save you? After years of being told I was an embarrassment? We're family, my mother cried. Family? I laughed. Family supports each other. Family listens. Family doesn't mock and belittle and dismiss. Hazel started crying quietly. Do you know what hurts the most? I continued. It's not that you didn't believe in my business. It's that you didn't believe in me. We can change, my mother pleaded. We'll do better. Only because you need something from me now. That's not true, isn't it? I gathered the financial documents. You never cared about my success until you needed it to save yourselves. So, that's it? Hazel looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. You're just going to watch us lose everything? Like you watched me struggle? Like you laughed at my little hobby? I shook my head. You made your choices. Now you get to live with them. You're being cruel, my mother whispered. No, I'm being honest. Something this family never learned to do. I walked to the door, then turned back one last time. By the way, Sandra Fowler's Lifestyle Summit is next week. I'm the keynote speaker. You might want to watch. You'll finally see what your embarrassing daughter built, while you were too busy chasing Curtis's dreams to notice your own family's reality. Lucille, please, my mother called after me. Goodbye, Mom. Good luck with the move. As I walked to my car, I heard Hazel screaming from the doorway. You ruined us! I turned around, calm and steady. No, Hazel, Karma did. The drive home was quiet. Mara was waiting at my house with wine and takeout. How'd it go? She asked. Exactly as expected. I kicked off my shoes. They only value me now that they need something. And you're sure about not helping them? I thought about all the times I'd needed them, all the dismissive comments, all the missed opportunities to simply believe in their daughter. They need to learn, I said finally. Sometimes the hardest lessons come from facing our own choices. My phone buzzed, a news alert about Curtis being spotted in Thailand. Let them chase him, I told Mara. I've got a summit to prepare for. She raised her wine glass. To karma, I echoed, and to building something real. And now please welcome our keynote speaker, the founder and CEO of Marble and Grace. The spotlight hit my face as I walked onto the stage. Sandra's Lifestyle Summit had drawn over 1,000 people, but I only saw 3 faces in the crowd. My mother, father, and Hazel, sitting in the back row. They hadn't told me they were coming. Thank you, Sandra. I adjusted the microphone. Let's talk about building something real in a world obsessed with appearances. For the next hour, I laid out my journey. The late nights, the market research, the strategic decisions. I didn't mention my family once, but I felt their eyes on me the whole time. Success isn't about quick wins or exclusive opportunities, I concluded. It's about creating genuine value, even when everyone tells you you're wasting your time. The applause was thunderous. Sandra rushed to hug me as reporters crowded the stage. Ms. Reyes, a journalist called out. Any comment on Curtis Myers' arrest in Bangkok this morning? I froze. This was news to me. Or about your family's involvement in his scheme. Before I could respond, Mara appeared at my side. No questions about ongoing investigations, she announced, steering me toward the exit. In the green room, my phone exploded with notifications. Curtis's arrest was everywhere. He'd been caught trying to open accounts with fake documents. A knock at the door. Lucille? My mother's voice. I nodded to Mara, who let them in. They looked different. My mother in off-the-rack clothes, my father aged 10 years, Hazel without her perfect makeup. They'd moved into a small apartment after losing the house. That was... My father cleared his throat. That was quite something. Thank you. Why didn't you tell us? Hazel asked. About all of this? The real numbers? The strategy? The vision? Would it have mattered? Yes, my mother whispered. No, I don't know. She wiped her eyes. We were so wrong about everything. Did you see the news about Curtis? My father asked. Just now. They're saying... Hazel's voice cracked. They're saying he did this to other families before. That he had multiple identities. Multiple victims. I know. You knew then too, didn't you? When you tried to warn us? I nodded. God, we were such fools. My mother sank into a chair. And now you're this incredible success story, without any help from us. Despite you, actually. The words hung in the air. We deserve that, my father said quietly. We deserve all of this. Yes, you do. I gathered my things. I have interviews scheduled. Lucille, wait. Hazel stepped forward. I know we can't fix the past, and I know we don't deserve your help now, but can we at least start over? Try to be a real family? Why? Because I'm successful now. No, my mother stood up. Because we finally see you. The real you. Not who we wanted you to be, but who you actually are. And she choked up. We're so proud, so ashamed we couldn't see it sooner. I looked at Mara, who gave me a slight nod. I can't give you money, I said finally. That's not how this works. We're not asking for money, my father said. Just a chance. To what? Be family again? To earn your trust, Hazel said. To support you the way we should have all along. I thought about the lonely nights building my business, the tears after family dinners, the strength I'd found in proving them wrong. I have a meeting next week, I said slowly, with potential retail partners. You can come if you want. See what I've built. Their faces lit up. Really? Hazel asked. As observers only, I warned. No input, no suggestions, no judgment. We'll be there, my mother promised. Just to watch and learn. My phone buzzed. More news about Curtis. Federal charges, multiple counts of fraud, decades in prison. He can't hurt anyone else now, Hazel said, reading over my shoulder. No, I agreed. He can't. As they left, my mother turned back. Thank you, she said softly. Not for the meeting invitation, for trying to protect us, even when we wouldn't listen. After they were gone, Mara brought me a coffee. You okay? I looked at my phone, at the headlines about Curtis's arrest, at the glowing reviews of my keynote, at the messages from retailers wanting to partner with my brand. You know what's funny? I said. I thought revenge would feel better than this. And it doesn't. But watching them finally understand, really understand, what I've built, that feels pretty good. Mara smiled. Ready for those interviews? I stood up, straightening my jacket. Ready to tell the truth. All of it. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying others. It's about building yourself into something they can't ignore.